What is up, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Ball. And as I record this 4 minutes ago, Aston Villa's 2022-2023 Premier League fixtures have just been announced. I'm looking through them now. As you can see them all on screen as well. It's pretty favourable. I'm not going to lie. We don't really have too many death runs coming up. However, obviously there is going to be a little bit of a hard time in December, as you can see. Liverpool and Tottenham. We're going to go through all of it. I'm going to break it down month by month for you. What I think it means for us going forward, and where I think possibly these fixtures could mean that we can actually get a run of confidence. We may be able to get a couple of upsets against a couple of big teams. So as always, guys, like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you think about our fixture list, whether you think it actually works well for us or not. And without further ado, let's break it down month by month. So, kicking it off in August, our first fixture, the 6th of August against newly promoted Bournemouth. Isn't this just throwbacks to the season that, I'm pretty sure it was the season we got relegated. I can't even remember if it was that season or not. I'm pretty sure it was. So our first game is an away game against Bournemouth before we go to Everton. At Villa Park. So a couple of good first two games. Obviously, Bournemouth might be a tricky one. They're coming up from the Championship, full of confidence that they'll be able to come and upset some of the big boys. Then we have Everton, which is going to be an interesting game, a team that wants to be where we are in the Premier League and are also willing to spend a bit of Mooney. Next up, another away game against Crystal Palace, another team in and around where we are in the table. Vieira doing a good job with them. They play exciting football. Not too sure about how much business they'll be doing over the summer, but again, a good team nonetheless to play against, and it could be a tricky one. But if you look at those first three games, you'd probably say, actually, that's not too bad at all. Next up, we have West Ham at home. That's going to be a difficult game. A game that, although we should be competing in, West Ham are a team that are now consistently pushing for 6th in the table. So again, a bit of a tough one to start off with, but it is at Villa Park. So if you were going to play them early in the season, you'd want it to be at home as opposed to having to go to the Olympic Stadium. And then we finished August, literally on the 30th of August, with a massive away game against Arsenal. The first proper, top 6 club, you'd say, or even maybe even pushing top 4 club that we're playing. It's right at the end of August. But overall, I actually think that August is a pretty good month for us, and I could see us taking at least 12 points from it, to be honest. So let's move on to September. So next up, we move on to September. Only 3 games in September, and actually it's a pretty difficult month, you would have to say, especially the first 2 games. So we kick it off with a home game to Manchester City on the 3rd of September. Obviously, the reigning defending champions of the entire galaxy in the Premier League. They've just signed Erling Haaland. They're going to be a mad team. And you have to say, this is really like the only fixture you look at and you think, oh, God. But it is at home. And again, playing them at home, maybe we can nick a result against them early in the season. And you never know what's going to happen. We're signing some good players. But that is a tough game to start September off of. And it's only, 3-4 days after the Arsenal game as well. And then after that, we have a nice 7-day gap before we play Leicester City away. Again, another difficult game. Leicester are a team that you'd imagine, I know they didn't have the best season last season, but you'd imagine they want to be challenging for top 8 again next season. So that could be a difficult one. And then we finish it off with a home game to Southampton. Another game that you'd expect us to win. Sorry about that. Yeah, another game you'd have to expect us to win. It's at home. Southampton are a team that we need to be blowing past, really, if we want to get to where we want to be in the Premier League. So in terms of September, a really, really tough sort of 3-game patch there. I would expect us to take at least 3 points, but hopefully a little bit more. Maybe snatch a win against Leicester. Maybe try and get a win against City. Obviously, don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here. But that's all in September. So let's move on to October. October, again, a busy month. Actually, I think our busiest month, bar April next year. First of all, we kick it off against Leeds, a team that are seemingly forcing rivalries with us alongside Newcastle, who we also play this month. But we kick it off literally on the 1st of the month with Leeds after a nice big gap after Southampton. It is away at Ellen Road. However, again, a game that you'd think we need to be winning. Next, Nottingham Forest, another newly promoted team. You'd expect us to win this game again. It is away, so we're going to their ground. However, if we want to get to where we want to be in the Premier League, again, we have to be winning. Then we have a tough home game against Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea have lost about 3 or 4 defenders this summer, but you'd assume they're going to start signing people left, right, and centre. A really, really tough game. Obviously, you know, whenever you're playing a top 4 team, it's a tough fixture. But again, you know, we've got results against them in the past. Maybe we could do it again. After that, we have Fulham away. Another game that we'd expect to be winning, even if we are going to Craven Cottage, another newly promoted team. As long as we can keep Mitrovic quiet, I would see us winning that game. Then we have Brentford at home. Again, another game that you'd expect us to win. We need to be blowing past these teams that are going to be battling relegation if we really want to push on and kick on to top 10, top 8. And then we finish it off with a massive game, Newcastle away, going up north. Going to be incredibly tough. They're going to spend loads of money this summer. Matt Targett coming back to Villa. So let's just see what happens. But, you know, you look at October as a month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. And actually, 5 of them are very, very winnable. So that could be a really, really good month to push us up the table before the World Cup. So let's move on to November. So now we move on to November, one of 2 months affected by the 2022 World Cup. So only 2 fixtures right at the start of the month. On the 5th of November, we are playing Manchester United at Villa Park. You know, you look at United, they are going to have Erin Ten Hag in charge now. Possibly they're going to make some signings in the summer, but they have lost the likes of Pogba, etc. Ronaldo's another year older. So a game that really we could actually try and extend on our good run of October. And then we have Brighton away. Hopefully Gareth Southgate's nowhere near England and Graham Potter or someone's gone in. We can take advantage of that against Brighton. But, you know, Brighton away down south by the coast is always a tough trip. They're a good team. Potter's got them ticking nicely. And like I say, a really short month in November. And then we break for the Qatar World Cup. But, you know, again, we could possibly scrape some points out of that November. And it could. If you add like October and November together, it really could leave us in a strong position going forward to the January transfer window. And then we move on to December. So our last game in November is Brighton on the 11th. We then come back in December on the 26th. And this is probably the tough. I know it's only 2 fixtures, but this is like the toughest 5 days we'll probably have. We have Liverpool at Villa Park, obviously a team that are going to want to come back and reclaim the title off of Manchester City. They're going to be firing on all cylinders. Just signed Darwin Núñez from Portugal, and you know, again, a tough fixture. It's always going to be tough when you're playing against people like Salah. You know, they've got Trent whipping in the balls. It's just going to be tough. You know it's going to be tough. They have lost Mane, apparently, to Bayern Munich, but then they've got like Diego Jota. They've got Luis Diaz. It's just going to be a tough game. And then we go away to Tottenham, who are making moves in this transfer window. Signed Fraser Forster, good backup goalkeeper. They've signed Ivan Perisic. They're in talks to sign Basuma, who we wanted. So Tottenham, with Conte at the helm, are going to be no small feat to overcome. Harry Kane and Son up front. Kane will probably dive to get at least 1 penalty against us, so it's going to be tough. That December, I would be happy with just a point from that December. That's a tough run. However, we are coming back from the World Cup. You know, are we going to have as many players going to the World Cup as the likes of Liverpool and Tottenham? Probably not. So again, could be that we capitalise on the World Cup fatigue and try and run them ragged. Next up, possibly with a couple of signings also in this month, depending on how the season goes, we have January, only the 3 games, 2 home games, which is always nice. The first one being Wolves, a nice little derby to kick off the January window, literally on the 2nd of January at Villa Park. A game that hopefully we can take something from. Next up, we have our second game against Leeds. This obviously being the home game at Villa Park on the 14th, so a nice gap between the two. And again, this is going to be probably after we've had, 14 days really to try and make some signings, however Gerrard assesses the squad over the first 5 months of the season, or 4 months. And then we finish it up with Southampton away, another game which I'd expect us to win. So really, you look at January as well, and that could be a 9-point a 9-point month. Bloody hell, my voice has gone very weird this morning. That could be a 9-point month, very, very easily. They're all pretty, difficult games, but games that, again, if we want to be pushing, you'd expect us to get the dub. After that, we move on to February. We kick it off with our second game of the season against Leicester. Again, a tough game, a team that I expect to bounce back from their poor season and be challenging in those sort of top 8 spaces. We then go to Manchester City at the Etihad, the Emptyhad, whatever you want to call it. It's obviously going to be a tough game. Look, we should have probably got at least a point on the last game of the season. Maybe we'll be going back for revenge. Gerrard had set us up in a way that City literally couldn't deal with until we started going defensive. So maybe it's going to be a game where we just go there and go for it. But you do look at those first 2 fixtures of February and worry where the points are coming from. And then it gets a little bit worse because then we go to Arsenal. That is at Villa Park again. So, we always have that home advantage. But Arsenal, under Arteta, are a good-looking team. They look like they're really coming on leaps and bounds under him. They're playing like how he wants them to play. They're good. They're possession-based. They're attacking. So that is going to be a tough, tough fixture. They missed out on the Champions League, so I'm sure they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder next year as well to get into those top 4 spaces. And then another difficult game. I know that they only barely scraped survival last season, but Everton, they're going to be signing players in summer. They might lose Richarlison to Tottenham. So we'll have to monitor that one and see how that goes. But again, that is at Goodison as well. So that's going to be a tough... February is probably the toughest month that we have. I know December is Liverpool and Tottenham, but that's only 2 games. February is 4 games, and all of them are very, very easily losable for Villa. So that could be one that hopefully, maybe after we've strengthened in January, possibly, or if we're just doing well, then, fair play. But February is one that I look at and think, oh, God, that is a bit of a difficult run. We then move on to a little bit of a quieter month in March. Crystal Palace at home on the 4th. A game that, again, we should really be looking to get all 3 points before we then go down to land and play West Ham away. That's going to be a difficult fixture. Again, West Ham, a team that I expect to be pushing for top 6 again. I'm sure they're going to be making signings this summer. They don't really seem to ever lose anyone either. Obviously, Mark Noble's retired, but he wasn't really a player for them. Looks like they're going to keep hold of Declan Rice. So, again, a tough, tough fixture. However, then we might be able to bounce back if that one doesn't go our way. Bournemouth at Villa Park. Fully expect us to get 3 points there. We cannot be dropping points to these newly promoted teams if Villa is going to the places that Gerrard and the board and the fans all seem to think that we're going to. So March, I could easily see a 6-pointer there. Next up, a bit of a reverse poo sandwich, shall we say. It's another busy month, our joint busiest month with October. We have April 6 fixtures, kicking it off on the 1st of April. April Fools against Chelsea away. Going down to Stamford Bridge against a certified top 4 team, Champions League winning team recently. It's going to be tough. You always know that Chelsea is going to be tough. As I said earlier, despite the fact they've lost all the players, it's going to be a mad game to play. Then we have 4 games which hopefully we can get some results out of. Kicking it off on the 8th with Nottingham Forest at Villa Park. I've already gone through it with Bournemouth in March. We should be winning all of our games against these newly promoted teams. Then we have Newcastle United at Villa Park. Again, Newcastle, a team that at the moment people are comparing very, very closely with Villa with the amount of money that we've got compared to them. Obviously, they have a bit more, but the way we're spending. Eddie Howe was the manager, absolutely transformed them last season towards the end of the season after he took over. In terms of form table, they were right up there. But, we need to be blowing past them. We need to actually show them who is the king of the new big boys. Then we have Brentford away. Another game which I would hopefully expect us to get a result against. We need to just play them off the park. So not too much to say on that. Then 3 days later, we go to Fulham. Now, this is a bit of fixture congestion here. We play Brentford on the 22nd. On the 25th, we have Fulham at Villa Park. A game, again, don't want to talk too much about it. We should be winning. So bearing in mind, we have a 3-day gap in between Brentford and Fulham. We then have a 4-day gap before we have to go all the way up to Old Trafford and play Manchester United away. Incredibly tough game. Obviously, it's going to be a tough game. Hopefully, we can try and get a result, but that will really tire the lads out. Now we come on to the final month of the year, May. 4 games left of the season. Where will Villa be? Comment down below. Kick it off on the 6th of May with a trip to Wolves away, a game again. These teams, we're going to have to be blowing past them. We really need to be ruthless now. They're a good team, don't get me wrong, but I'm hoping we can snatch 3 points there. Then we have literally a reverse of December. Really, really odd how this has worked out. But we start with Tottenham at Villa Park on the 13th of May. Again, like I've said, a tough game. They're going out, they're spending money. They have Conte, who's a proven winner, gets results quickly with his teams before running them to the ground and leaving. But this is the season where I expect Conte to get some good results for Tottenham. So worrying game that. But luckily, it's not our last home game. Then we go to Liverpool. So like you say, in December, we have Liverpool at home, Tottenham away in that order. In May, we have Tottenham at home, then Liverpool away. Second to last game of the season. Could it be any worse? A team that's going to be wanting to grind out some results to get towards that championship trophy at Liverpool, at Anfield. That is going to be a tough one. And then we finish the season. Now, I'm hoping we can finish the season on a win here. We have a home game to finish the season, which is always nice when you finish the season at home. And we're against Brighton, a team which hopefully we will be able to get a result against and kick on from there, see where we finish. I'm really interested to see what you guys think. But as you can see, overall, not too bad. Let's do a little breakdown. Yes, so that is it, guys. That is our Premier League fixtures 2022 to 2023. Not too bad. A couple of bad runs of games. You know, December sticks out as one that we might struggle to get any points in. You know, that kind of last flurry in April where we're playing Brentford, Fulham and United all within a week. That could be worrying. You know, we have the February run of games, Leicester, Man City and Arsenal. But then there's months in there, like August, you'd expect us to get a few wins out of that. Our last sort of game of the season, Brighton, we should be able to get some points out of that. October, apart from Chelsea, we should be looking to challenge all of those games. And it's the same with April, actually. Apart from Chelsea and United, you know, they're all games that we can win. So our two busiest months of the season are actually ones where we should be able to pick up 9 to 12 points, hopefully. But let me know what you guys think down below. I think it's actually more favourable than our run of games last season was. We had a couple of really sticky runs last season, and finishing the game at City away, it's just never going to be good. But there's no sort of runs in there that I look at and think, wow, we're going to lose so much and so badly that our confidence is actually going to be run down and it's going to take a few games to get back to normal. We have that massive gap before those December fixtures for the World Cup, which then runs straight into January where we can assess and strengthen the team and go from there. So let me know what you guys think. As always, I've been behind the ball. I'm out.